June 17th. Excuse me. What am I saying? June 13th, 2023. June 13th, 2023. June 13th, 2023. Around 7 p.m. Okay, I'm pulling the fuel tank out to replace the fuel sender and fuel pump. And a lot of people say, how do you do this job? Well, some people, after they've done this 2 or 3 times in the same vehicle, because the fuel pump doesn't put out the right pressure or fails altogether, have had this misery, which is not all that bad if it's not all corroded underneath. And I've had this tank in and out several times, and I use never seize on the bolts. And as you see, I'm using jack stand and jack. But I didn't take the tire off. I didn't do this until after I had dropped the tank and got my body out from underneath there. I took the tire off so you could see better. And unfortunately, well, let me talk about the tools needed. Let's see, what tools did I use? I used 10 millimeter at the electrical connector to get this cable loose, because it's got a ground lug here that's a 10 millimeter. And getting these plastic retainers is a pain. You got to get a pry point in there with a regular screwdriver like that one, and hit the right place and then snap. And as you see, on that one there. So once you get all those unsnapped, you can pull the cable back once, after you drop the tank. Now the tank's got 4 lines coming out of the fuel sender. There's 2 lines that, to get those loose, you got to have a tool like this hog ring snap plier. You can use plumber's pliers, but this works a little better to grab it and get those 2 lines to slip off. And the other 2 lines require flare wrenches to get on the fittings, because they're threaded fittings. And once those 4 lines are loose, then you can pull the tank out and change the sending unit, which I'm not going to show you me fighting with those 4 lines, but I'll talk about it after I do it. But I don't work on this side of the van for those 4 lines. I have to come over to the other side of the vehicle to reach those lines with the tank hanging. And of course, you see my blown up muffler here. I got to replace that muffler, but I'm not. Anyway, I don't know how good you can see underneath here, but there's those 4 lines. And I'll try to get the camera in a little tighter. Okay, these 2 lines are clamp pliers and 2 lines are threaded, and then I ought to be able to slide the tank out. And I did jack it up and use jack stands jack stands to let's see, give me more room working under there. But I really didn't need to jack it up until after the tank was disconnected with those 2 bolts. Now, I would think 15 millimeter deep well would have been good for those 2 bolts that hold the tank straps, but I didn't have a 15 millimeter, so I had to use this SAE 5/8 deep well that worked pretty well, and 10 millimeter to get the grounding strap loose, and a couple of screwdrivers. And for the 2 clamps for the fuel fill hose, which is a big diameter hose, I used 8 millimeter or a regular screwdriver, depending on what you like better. 8 millimeter I started with, and then I finished with that screwdriver because it was a little fiddly. But I'm making good progress. If the weather holds before sunset, I might have it to the point where I can replace that fuel sender tomorrow morning. and put it back together again. I'm not going to try to finish it tonight because I'm just too tired. I found I do better work when I'm take frequent breaks and I'm rested. So this is Dennis Sietsma, Dennis John Sietsma Productions, Homestead, Florida, USA. Thanks for watching.